It is Friday night, and it is cheap date night. Okay, so we're on a little bit later. We'll have the Central Valley Leadership Roundtable. We're going to have that up a little later tonight. You'll get cheap date night now. A little after my show, you'll get the Glam Show. And then toward the end of the evening, you'll get the Central Valley Leadership Roundtable. Little delay. We pushed back a little bit, but you're still going to get all three shows that you would normally get on a Friday night for your viewing pleasure. So things have been a little, different in terms of like after my trip. I think we missed one show. But I kind of wanted to use tonight also, again, to wrap that up a little bit and talk a little bit about what I saw while I was on the island and in Miami. I was in Miami for 2-3 days as well. So southeastern part of the United States, obviously South Florida, and then Puerto Rico, the island. We'll talk about that a little bit and just, what I saw, the good aspects of a different portion of our country that are also dealing with the pandemic and other things. So we're not going to make it entirely like, it's not a political show. You guys know that. Cheap Date Night's different, but it's cultural. It's cultural. It's different portions of our country that are made up, not just geographically, obviously, but culturally, ethnically, linguistically, a little different than other parts of the country. But there's still people, and there's still Americans, all right? There's still Americans, and that's all our wheelhouse here. So we'll do Cheap Date Night. We're going to have a little bit of fun tonight. I've got a special guest that I've been wanting to have for a long time. I just never got around to it, and circumstances happened today that made it a possibility, and so here we go. You roll with the flow, and you adapt and overcome, make stuff happen on the fly, because that is what good soldiers do. So Cheap Date Night tonight. We'll talk a little bit about movies, even though it's difficult to watch because there's like the platforms are only offering certain things, right? And it's not like theater. You go and you get like 5, 6, 7, 8 choices to choose from. It's different. And the truth is, I don't think, not as many people are watching as much movies as I think they would normally do in a regular time, not pandemic time, because you have all these other issues and problems, including, loss of, jobs, loss of money. Some people are in serious issue and problem right now with holding on to some fundamentals and basics like, feeding family. Paying a mortgage or paying a rent. That's all right now, and I don't want to get too hard and heavy on the Friday because we're going to have a good time going out, but those are all realities, and we do need to address them in a straight-laced and honest fashion while trying to make the best of the situation, all right, because that's literally where we are. We don't make the decisions that affect us. We just have to roll with those decisions and make the best for us and the friends and family around us or neighbors, etc. So that's Cheap Date Night. And again, I'm glad to be back, and we'll be back in current format, going forward for a while now. I'm busy, we've got plenty of stuff to do, but Cheap Date Night will remain and stay strong, at this time on a Friday night. All right, so without any further ado or gilding of the lily, you like that, gilding of the lily, you gild the lily. I've got my crime partner, Bobby B, in the place to be.
What's going on?
Bobby B.
He tells me it's a cheap date night. Let's see what's...
It's exceptionally cheap, man. We're exceptionally cheap. When it's free, that's about as cheap as it gets. That's about as cheap as it gets. So let's just get right into business. So we were talking right before the show started. So I've only seen one movie over the last week or two. Mm-hmm. We could talk about that, and then I want you to talk a little bit about the other we just mentioned. But so I just saw Bill and Ted Face the Music, and you said you saw it too,
I
right?
saw it too.
All right, so I mean, you're old enough to remember the first one,
yep.
right?
Yep.
I remember the first one, and then Bogus Journey, saw that. And these guys go like, nearly 30 years to do another. But, I mean, you know what you get with the movie, right? It's, it's Goonie Valley guy stuff, and I don't want to say airheads, but two guys that their only concern is music and just kicking back, relaxing and chilling, and then we had some fun with it, right? I know that time back then in the 80s, I think it was 89, and then in 92 was Bogus Journey, and then Updating. So I liked it, if for nothing else, referencing another time, another period when I was a kid, and I remember all that stuff. And
that's the only way I think you can get through it.
Well, I mean, look, it's not like it's going to win an Academy Award. I get that part.
It's like Wayne and Garth. I don't know if you can remember Wayne and Garth Saturday Night Live, right? So, but if you don't know, my wife didn't remember who Bill and Ted was. She knows Keanu Reeves, but she didn't know who they were. But if you don't know who they are and you try to watch this, you didn't see the other ones, and you aren't in that time, and then it'd probably be hard to get to.
Yeah.
Get through the movie, but because it brings you back to a long time ago, the guitar and everything.
And they did enough of that. They did enough of that, like Death.
Yeah.
I love Death.
Yeah.
I love Death. He's funny as hell, right? And then that whole little shtick about, well, they broke up. The man was like, he wanted to play too much. He was on bass. I thought that was funny as hell because I like Bogus Journey. Not everybody does, but I guess officially I liked all three. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I do. But I liked all three of them. I liked all three, but and principally because, like, I'm a Keanu Reeves fan. I always have
I was
been.
going to ask you, Keanu
since
Reeves.
Day one.
Are you Keanu Reeves fan because of Bill and Ted, or since day one?
Since day one. I've always been a fan of that guy and his life, the whole thing, right?
Okay.
I don't want to get
As
into too much. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't want to get into all the details, but, question that guy, my opinion, as a Hollywood star, A-list star, he does it right. My opinion, he does it the right way. Then I'll throw a little sidebar. The little dude, the other one, Alex, that guy, he kind of looks the damn same.
No, they both did.
They did. I mean, I'm looking at him like.
It's like, no, they didn't skip a beat in anything.
Well, because we know Keanu Reeves, right?
Yeah.
Because we've seen him over a lifetime. He's been in movies and film for 30 years plus. But the other dude, Alex Winter, I mean, that guy looked almost exactly the damn same. I'm like, look at this dude.
Yeah.
They
didn't skip a beat. The way they worked with each other, everything was still the same. It was, cool seeing Keanu Reeves be Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
That's kind of, in every role that he plays, he's kind of that fighting being that character, I feel like. I mean, he really brought himself out, and then that kind of determined who he was.
Yeah.
And, I mean, anytime, he's been in a lot of different movies where he still
Let me throw you that. Let's do that. Let's do it on the spot, right? We got our time. So, what other, like, aside from the obvious ones, but I mean, what are the other Keanu Reeves movies that you like? There's a lot.
Yeah, the obvious one, like John Wick.
Right, John Wick and The Matrix. Everybody knows those.
Outside of the action one, there was, I forget the name of the movie, but he was the boyfriend of this girl that,
a romantic comedy?
It was a romantic comedy.
He's done romantic movies.
Yeah, it was a romantic comedy.
You're talking about the one where it's like, was it A Walk in the Clouds or something like that?
No. This is more recent. I think it was two Asian lead role characters. He was the guy from Fresh Off the Boat.
Yeah.
Him and the other comedian. I forget what that was called.
Damn, I don't know.
Keanu Reeves was in it. He played the rich boyfriend and all that stuff.
Right,
he plays kind of the same character, except more conceited, but he did a good job in there too.
One that I really liked, aside from I'm a big Matrix and John Wick fan. I mean, that's like, I'm off the charts with those and just digging on it. But Point Break, with Patrick Swayze.
So you like that first one better than the second one? The remake, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. There you go.
I'm like, what the hell was that, man? What the hell was that? It just didn't work for me.
Yeah.
But, Patrick Swayze and then Lori Petty, who, like, kind of, after Tank Girl, it was done for her. But I told my wife the other day, like, Lori Petty, I mean, at that window, like 80s into 90s, I mean, she was big for a while there. She was like, she had some pretty damn good starring roles as the female lead. And then she did Tank Girl. People don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. Tank Girl.
Yeah.
It was her own. Look at the gallery. So it was Tank Girl. She was the lead, no males. She was Tank Girl, based on a comic. And it didn't work. It just did not work. And then I never saw Lori Petty again. Now, maybe she did some other stuff, but that movie, I think it maybe sunk her. Because, it literally tanked. Because she was good in Point Break, and she was good in some other roles.
Yeah.
She was in A League of Their Own. She was the little sister in A League of Their Own. Gina Davis and Lori Petty. Yep, okay. League of Their Own. And that, like I said, that was all that window, late 80s into 90s, and she was rising. She was going to be there. And then Tank Girl, and literally tanked her. So anyway, Patrick Swayze in that one.
So Point Break, though.
I love Point Break.
So all the different platforms, Amazon and Netflix and Hulu and everything, where they're always showing recommended movies or movies that are trending. I haven't seen that Point Break come up. Keanu Reeves' Point Break. It's always the remake.
Really?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, I wonder what you guys think. I don't know.
Are there some reasons for it?
I don't know. Just maybe because people like the second one more? I don't know.
How the hell? Like
that's what I'm wondering.
The only way you could like the second one more if you didn't see the first one because you're not old enough. Maybe.
Probably.
I mean, maybe for younger people.
It doesn't show up.
There are more young people than there are us older people. That's a reality. And they watch this stuff, but I didn't know that. I would not know that. But I love Point Break. I mean, it was a damn good movie, different concept, whatever. But and then my point to it was, that was a different role for him, even though, you know, he had Speed and he had other movies too. But the Point Break role that was a cool damn movie. I liked everything about it. It was different. You know, who he was, who he got to play, Johnny Utah, you know, and that's one of my favorite well-known films that he was in. There wasn't a series of 3 badass flicks, right? John Wick, Neo, so all those others. But, you know, I'm a big, you know, we're off on the bar there, but I mean, I'm a big John Wick, Keanu Reeves fan, just a massive fan of that guy.
You looking forward to Matrix 4?
I'm absolutely looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it, but like with most things, with those types of like trilogies and beyond, you don't want to be disappointed, right? You don't want it to go off the rails and go too crazy. I will say this on record: if all they did, let me back up one. Okay, so the last one, the fight scene, and so you know I'm a hand-to-hand guy. I'm a hand-to-hand combatant. The knife scene toward the beginning of the last John Wick film, was absolutely badass.
That was amazing.
Was badass
in the knife store.
Oh man, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
and all over the place because it kind of like
the knife store one.
The fight carried into and kind of carried out, but I was just like, I was sitting there like a little kid. I'm not joking. All right.
Right.
I'm about to hit 50, but I was like a little kid watching the fight scene in the knife store, and like, oh damn, yeah, you know, like it was just like so damn cool. The choreography with it, you know, the whole. The intent behind displaying technical proficiency with knives, right? And then, you know, putting it in a fashion where there's like multiple attackers on one you know, individual, and being able to use like the full suite of knives, you know, because they would show the images of all the knives, like, let me give one that, let me give one that, like a little kid in a candy store. So the knife scene alone in that was worth it for me. So if they were to do something, not necessarily knives, right? But anything that is a display of skill in hand-to-hand combat, then I'm good.
Right.
You know, that's just me. It doesn't have to be everybody, but anything like that shows or displays skill level in hand-to-hand, you know, combat, I'm gonna be good with. So I don't want to say it, but if I go and we watch the movie, you brought it up, 4. If we get to 4, oh, we're talking about. My bad.
Matrix 4.
We're talking about Matrix.
Right.
God damn, I'm talking about John Wick.
You are.
I'm sorry. Oh, man. Oh,
he's a Keanu Reeves fan. He still loves Keanu Reeves. Man, it doesn't matter what it is.
Okay, I went totally sidebar on that. Man, I don't think I've done that before. I was thinking of John Wick, too, because, well, they're going to have another John Wick.
Yeah.
So either way, but, okay, so wow, you got me off on a loop. So either way, even with, I know what I was doing, even with The Matrix, as long as they kept it central core to the reason why the first one was good, I'm okay with the other bells and whistles. If they want to alter some things or make the Matrix different,
can they do? Look,
that's the question. That's what people are going to ask.
The Matrix was, philosophically, it opened up our minds to a lot of different possibilities, a lot of different things, took us to a different world where things were real, not real. At the same time, it used cinematography like it's never been used before.
Correct.
It was, exactly. It was amazing.
Hey, check me out. Look at I'm dodging bullets. Hey, look at this. Special effects.
The people in the gallery are going to fix it later.
Look, I'm dodging bullets. Look at that fall. That'd be good for sure.
No.
Wait, we're live, though. We're live.
But no, actually, though, that's I don't know if they can. I mean,
well, I don't think they
could watch them, but it's that Matrix. I mean, it's everywhere.
Well, you brought up the good point.
Matrix is everywhere.
Yeah.
You red pill, blue. It's everywhere.
Now, you brought up the good point that no question that when that movie came out, in terms of the cinematography and the tech involved with how they made that movie, there was nothing like that ever before that.
Right.
There was nothing like that. Okay.
Nothing.
So, on that end alone, you'd be hard pressed to duplicate, right? Because then you have to be cutting edge and creative again in the pandemic.
Right.
That's difficult. So if they don't, then there's only one other place it can go. It has to go to story. You've got a built-in set of characters and an ethos, a world that is loved by a hardcore group of fans, including me. And we're going to watch. So then what do you do with it? If you can't break new ground technologically in terms of the cinematography, the filming, the all that. If you can't do that, then where do you go? Then it's got to be the story.
It's gonna be very political. I bet. They've been the Wachowski siblings have been pretty political.
So make it a
as
social
of late.
commentary on current political?
That's what Sense8 was.
Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, that's what Sense8 was, and I can't see them doing anything different. And that's why it may do great or it may flop. It just depends how far they stretch it. I mean, they did a lot in Sense8. You got to remember who also wrote it, right? And,
Yeah.
And the statements that they want to make today, right?
Right.
Because I had to learn to say what Wachowski siblings.
Yeah.
It was Wachowski brothers. And
Right.
Now they both now identify as female, so now they're Wachowski siblings.
Whoa.
Oh, see.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here.
No, I'm not lying to you, man. And so they did Sense8.
When was that?
It's been years.
Wow.
Right. And so, but they've been
You
making
learn
political
something new every
statements
day. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I see that they might make a lot, because they made a lot of political statements, not to particular people at that time.
No. But
now,
it's under
today,
it's laced
yeah.
with social commentary.
Oh, it's so much. But now they might just be blatant about it.
Because they just don't give a damn.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Whoa. Not that it matters,
I know
but
you're
I
going to
did
be
not
researching
know.
it.
No,
Is Bobby lying to me? Don't believe him.
No, I believe you. I believe you. That's not the question. I was like,
Yeah.
totally clueless on that.
Yeah.
Like, my wife tells me sometimes, like, it's good that I am clueless like that because I don't consider, like, say, if someone changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a big deal to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they want to do. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't even like, whoa, okay. Well,
Yeah.
my surprise would be like, damn, I didn't know.
Yeah, we didn't know.
Didn't even know.
But the thing is that when it comes to the movie and having that platform, they may use it to do that.
Okay.
I mean, Sense8 had a lot in it. I don't
You
know
know
if
what?
saw
I
Sense8,
don't
yeah.
doubt you're probably right. Because like I said, just with the Matrix alone, the underlying social commentary and the underlying view toward dystopia and future, there's plenty there. There's plenty there. So I definitely don't see how they wouldn't do that,
Right.
especially when you have the platform to do it, right? You have this series of flicks, 3 movies, that are in the national fabric, the national, international, culture in our mind. Why not?
Right.
Do it. You have the ability to speak to a very, very large audience. So what do you do if you can?
Right.
You do it. So I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. They kind of, I think they write really well. So we'll see.
Well, so
looking forward to
Keanu Reeves has got Matrix 4. They're going to have another John Wick. 2?
Another two
Greenlighting
more
2?
John Wicks, huh?
I could watch them all day. I could watch those movies all day. I'm good to go.
Yeah,
one
I
way
don't
or
know
the
how
other.
he does it. I don't know how he does it.
You know
that guy
what?
trains hard.
You
No,
got to
he
train
trains
hard. You got to
Trains
train hard. I mean, like, think about it. Like, so I was now bullshit with KP once in a while. Like, telling him, like, so I've been working out harder than I have in a long, long time. I'm leaning out a little bit. Really, it's cardio now. I can put on muscle where I want. I've been big. Like, I've gotten like wide, heavy, in muscle on the upper frame, but like it isn't practical. I don't need that, and it's not just to like young guys. They just want to see how big they can get, right?
Yeah, I
It's
got
not
one
practical.
size fat, but
But the thing is, like, you can go into your 50s up to, and he's 50 something.
but he's doing
67.
jiu-jitsu. He's doing
Correct, and that's my
he's
point.
doing, all the firearms
as long as
training and
you
everything.
train,
Yeah.
and you're actively engaged and you're taking care of your body, that's the critter that I'm doing far more of than I used to.
It's good.
And I've been kind of lucky. I've never had anything debilitating or bad. I'll say it, and I was like, I haven't been sick, not even a sniffle or a sneeze in over 4 years, going on 4.5 years. That's not a joke. I mean, it's serious, and we're during a pandemic, right?
Right.
And I tell people that, like, well, you're kind of lucky. I was like, and not to be, an ass or arrogant, but I am lucky. I am lucky. But psychosomatically, psychologically, I actively think about taking care of myself and lasting long and going long. So now that we're at this point, I will say definitely, though, that I have to be more aware of the things that I haven't been doing for the last 30 years to take care of myself. I have to be aware of those things now. And so now I'll be a little more proactive about what I need to do to keep my body in really good shape, peak-wise. And a lot of it is flexibility, cardio, having lungs, having the ability to...
Having lungs is very important.
It is, man. I mean, I'm like, no, on both fronts, but I mean, if you get winded real quick or you're short of breath real quick, I mean, it precludes you from being able to do other things. And I mean, like physically, like muscularity. You're no good if the muscles can't get into the oxygen can't get into the muscles because you're running out of breath real quick, right? And it's vice versa. So I've got a few things. I'll put this one on there. I've really considered, and I'm really getting close to giving a green light to myself for next year. I kind of want to. I'm gonna put it on there. I'm gonna get hell for it if I don't do it, but I'm gonna go compete at Greco-Roman wrestling. That's all.
He's gonna do wrestling.
Well, I wrestle.
Yeah, I know.
So I've been wanting to do Greco for a long time.
Be careful.
For the old timers, man. I ain't trying to compete with a 20-year-old dude.
Just be careful.
Yeah, well, you have to. But hey, listen, here's my rule.
I know.
If I have to be careful, and there's a dude across me that's 50, then he's got to be careful too.
Oh yeah.
So generally on
but he may not have never stopped.
You know what? It's hard to maintain that pace. And by the way, so it's not like this is next year.
Yeah.
My point is that I will be. Yeah. I'm already in decent shape. I will be in better shape by next year.
Do it.
And I'm not bad. I'm
a
decent.
lot of folks. I used to break dance, right? And I still can do some of the stuff. And people keep asking me. My wife says, "Don't do it." And then sometimes when no one's around, I'll do it. And it hurts. But that's what I'm saying. Be careful. I'm there by myself. I can just imagine if I was competing against someone and someone was, trying to throw me over too. These bones can hurt.
Again,
these bones can hurt.
My rule is, and here's the metric. I generally, honestly feel that in all things being equal, I'm really healthy compared to other people my own age.
Yeah.
And so if that guy is 50, I feel pretty confident that I can go with that guy.
Both of you have to. If you both are competing, you both are probably healthy enough to do it.
Well, again, and then the other thing,
going home still hurts.
The other thing that nobody wants, my people around me want to hear, but if there's another guy and I'm gonna face off with that guy, I'm gonna come at him, and I'm gonna go for broke, and either I'll break or he's gonna break. I'm a soldier. I'm gonna attack. That's what I'm gonna do. And if I lose, then I lose. But I'm gonna attack. It won't be because I sat back and watched.
All right, you guys remember that. Remember that. I can't do that next year. Next year's only a couple months.
Yeah, it'll come quick enough. But so anyway, I've been considering that, and the whole point to it all is like Keanu Reeves and all these actors now, they last longer. They take better care of themselves. There's biohacking where you're actively working to slow down the process of aging, not just in appearance, but physically, your organs, eating healthy. I'm, for the first time ever in my life, I'm doing some fasting, intermittent fasting. I don't know how that would work, but it's not that hard. It's not, I thought it would be harder. It's not. So I do a 16 and an 8. So I don't eat for 16 hours and I eat during an 8-hour window. Like right now I can eat, but once I get to like 10 or 11, I can't eat after that. So you use the window that you sleep as part of it, and you just have to have a little bit longer after that so you don't eat. So 16-8 fasting. I understand, I won't go into all that right now, but so I'm trying different things to actively work on precluding or slowing down aging process just because you're healthier, being healthier. So all that, and like I said, the guys in, A-list stars, they have access to all this going back 20, 30 years that are barely getting, things that are getting into the general public now, they've been doing for a while. That's why they look good, they last longer.
So are we going to expect you to look like Bill and Ted when they're in prison?
Oh, no. That was funny. Yeah, they're older than hell. They did do a good job of like aging them at different times. And and even though it was cheesy as all hell, the one where they're in the prison. That's
what I'm saying.
Yeah, dude.
So yoked up.
that was kind of funny. So there's that, and then they did the ones where like they've got the beer bellies and stuff. But I did watch that flick. Let me stop there. It'll be on Keanu Reeves all night. But I did watch that. It is what it is. It's one of those movies.
Pass.
I'm good.
You're at home.
If Keanu Reeves is in it, I'm good. So let's do this. You give me, you watch Mulan. I did.
I watched Mulan.
So give me your stick on that.
I was waiting for Mulan to come out. I mean, for me, I'm Hmong, and so we have a Hmong actor in that movie. He played Po.
Okay.
He actually gained like 67 pounds to play that part. And so for us, it was a big thing. It's like, we got a Hmong guy in there.
Right.
That was one to watch, one also to watch. The other thing is that, being in this business for so long and seeing how it works, a lot of it is about money. How much money do, certain types of looks or, in this case, how much money do Asians make? That's why Crazy Rich Asians was such a big thing. So Mulan's coming out.
Did that change
the
metric?
That did change some of it. right? And that's why we have Mulan coming out. I'm like, hey, I want Mulan to make a lot of money too, so people can start writing parts and saying, oh, it's not about.
And so
who's
that
on
affects the
screen.
actors,
That
the
does.
directors,
It affects
all
the
that.
parts and the roles that we get. The opportunities that we get.
Right.
And so we're able to watch it. I watched. I waited for it. It was good. It was the story. I think what they were, a lot of the stuff, a lot of the woman empowerment was there, very strong and done very well. I just felt that they were a little lazy on the movie. $200 million on the movie. They couldn't figure out if they're doing a 1985 martial arts movie or if they're doing, a today Disney type real acting movie, because it was kind of mixed, a lot of it, right? So it never got into it. And they had a lot of A-list, I'll say Asian actors in there that people are familiar with. It just, like, some parts were really good, some parts were bad. Like, I remember at the very end.
A little disjointed?
Yeah. I mean, I mean, it was good and not good. I think Disney.
Could have been better.
Yeah, I think they had a different, I think they wanted to bring more of the martial art action, not martial arts, but rope action. A lot of martial arts, they have a lot of the ropes and they're flying and stuff. We don't do a lot of shows like that here in America. So maybe they were trying to get people used to that and to that type of
I didn't know
fighting.
that.
I mean,
Okay,
maybe
so I haven't
John
seen
Wick
it.
will be flying across. I don't know.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But
So it was back
I'll
and
say, like,
forth.
without having seen it, I didn't think that was going to be it. Meaning what you're talking about, the rope action fight scenes. I didn't think that was part
ton
of it.
it.
Really?
Ton of it. Yeah. And
I don't
so-
know. I guess my point is, like, why would they have to do that? Because Mulan by itself is a good story.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a good story. So I think I get what you're saying, and I haven't seen it yet, but I think I get what you're saying. It's kind of this, but kind of that. I would probably be just happy. It was like, great story,
Me
great
too.
acting,
That's where
Right?
that's where I thought it was going to be.
great underlying message.
Right.
Young
Well,
gal doing crazy cool shit, right?
And being someone who's watched Asian actors all the time to say, oh, look, they got a part, they got a role, they got a part. Like,
Yeah.
someone got money, someone's in it, right?
Right.
And I'm like, oh, look at everybody's in it. Like, everyone I've seen, everyone's in it. The bad guy, Jason Scott Lee, right? I mean, he's been in a lot of stuff. It's cool to see him back into it again. So I mean, there's all these people
That
are
kid's been
getting
around
these
forever.
roles and doing it. It was good to see. I just felt that they didn't commit, and so they spent a lot of money to not commit. But
Well, it sounds like the expense
from a
wasn't
kid
spared,
wise,
right?
from the kid wise though, I think if they get past the story of the kung fu fighting and stuff, like the woman empowerment was very strong.
Okay.
At the
I'm
very
gonna watch
end,
it. I got Disney
best was
Plus.
at the end.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I'm gonna
Best
watch
one.
it because I got Disney Plus, so I was gonna watch it
watch
eventually anyway.
Put some money into it so they can make more stuff for us.
Hey,
That's Hollywood.
hey, listen.
That's
you
what
know,
it is.
I'm loyal. I gotta send money to Disney, almost as loyal as me sending money to Amazon. Because Bezos doesn't have enough money. Right? It's like they don't have enough. We
Yeah.
got to send them some more. Let's
Yep.
make sure they get more money.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got me thinking. Maybe I shouldn't have asked you that question, but now I'm going to be mindful and watching of it. But I do know, like, so before my daughter left for school, we were talking about watching that, and we just never got around to it. But I'm going to. We'll watch it. But I'll say it. My intent to watching it wasn't because it was Disney. My intent to watching it was because of the story and how they do it. I want the story. I want the young gal who does something at a time when gals are not allowed to do something really cool. That's what I want.
Right. And I think they did it. They just, because we make films, because we do this, I just.
Not me, you.
Yeah, well,
You around it, I don't.
I just feel that they did not spend enough time to
Maybe missed opportunity a little
express
bit.
them. They do the story, just not as good as they could have.
Yeah.
They rushed moments.
Well,
that
especially if
you
you're
just
telling
talked
me
about.
they got A-list, crew in terms of
Yeah.
the actors, spared no expense.
Right.
In essence, you have no reason not to be something really, really good.
Right.
And then it ends up going too many ways, two
Right.
different things.
But also was, I was looking for a lot too. So.
That's true. Maybe somebody that isn't is like, oh, it's good, and move on to something else.
So we'll see what he says next time.
I don't see. I will watch it though. Like I said, I was going to watch it anyway, but now you got me thinking. Now I'm going to be wondering what the hell. I don't need all that other stuff. Like I said, I just wanted a good story. At least going in, that was my intent. I like the story, and if you have no expense in terms of the actors you can get, and the locations and the scenes, etc. I mean, let's face it. I mean, you don't even need good tech sometimes. And I'm not a movie guy, but You don't even need good tech and all the other cool bells and whistles if you just got good scenes, great acting, great story.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. You got a badass movie, right?
Yep.
I don't know. That's what I was thinking of what it would be.
But you got a lot of good action in this one, too. So.
Okay, so anything else you've seen over the last few weeks, 2-3 weeks?
I mean, I haven't really been watching movies. I've been watching series.
I haven't either.
I mean, that's kind of everything that's online. You know, after everything's quiet in the house, all that stuff, I'll just turn it on. I watched Cobra Kai.
Oh, all right, no.
Did you watch
All right,
Cobra Kai?
no. Okay, so there's only 2 damn things that I've actually watched.
Uh-huh.
Bill and Ted, and I watched the damn first season of that.
Cobra Kai.
I did.
There you go.
I did.
There you
okay,
go.
now, why do you watch it? Okay, why? I'm not asking you like personally. I'm asking like generically.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so anyone that is anywhere near our age,
right,
whatever that is, right, and alive at that time, you gotta kind of wonder, especially since that dude is on the damn commercials all the time. The commercials, yeah, I like Koala Kai.
Right,
the commercials,
right?
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you just, like, you have the thought, you know, it's kind of like, you know, with Keanu Reeves, you know who he is. You're going to want to watch. You're going to want to watch, right? So I have to admit that I'm like, okay, I guess. And so, yeah, I watched the first season. I haven't watched the second season yet. You watched both?
Yeah.
You watched both. Okay, I haven't watched both. So I've watched the first season, and I'm sitting there finding myself laughing my ass off at different times. And definitely when they're doing things, okay, they're splicing in, you know, shots of the original movie. And the things that they say or do, the 2 main characters, you know, Johnny and
Danny.
Johnny Lawrence and Danny. And you're sitting there laughing because, like, okay, this is flipped, right? And you're getting the story on the other kid didn't really have it that great, like people thought.
Right.
And that was a good switch, by the way.
The whole spin.
That is good, because the truth is, the world we live in, where you think that guy's just evil because he's a little asshole, but he was a little asshole because he was being treated poorly at home, or he had a bad dad, whatever. Okay, you don't know those.
Or
things.
he thought everything he did was right.
Yeah. He had no, you know, literally just like, not stupidity, but ignorance of other.
Well, he
right?
thought he was the bullied one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. And some of those, right? And I'm laughing my ass off, right? But, you know, you don't know those things because other people deal with circumstances you're not aware of. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I've had to do that myself. My life wasn't easy, you know, but I don't uniformly blame all the other bad people that have everything or had good things. Right. Because where I'm at in my life, they're the ones that are not doing well now, and I'm happy. I'm happy, right? It's a good life, and that's kind of the shtick with, you know, with Daniel LaRusso, is he's got multiple car dealerships, he's making money, he's got the big house. They did a good job of that the first 2 or 3 episodes, right? Portraying him as like highly successful, doing well, he's got the good-looking wife, got kids, got everything he could want. Total switch from what he was in the movie.
Yep.
And the other guy's the one that is on Hurtin' Row, drinking, lives in a beat-up old apartment, drives around in the Trans Am.
Yeah, he's loving the old days, still stuck.
That's some stuff. You got to admit, though, you know, you hear the music when they start playing the music.
I love the soundtrack.
Man,
I'm sorry, the soundtrack
I'm listening to damn music, and
the
I'm sitting there.
Is amazing.
Oh, my God. It was like I was laughing my ass off because, you know, you're listening to music, and what does it do? It takes you back.
All the way back.
It takes you back to that time, and you're listening to this.
Yeah.
And the music that was playing at that time in that movie in the late 80s.
Yep.
And it was an eye opener because let's face it, there's some cheesy aspect to it. Cheesy as hell. Cheesy as hell. But for whatever reason, I will say, and maybe it's just me, maybe it's you because we're old enough, right? Because we remember that movie, and it's a great movie. The Karate Kid was a great movie.
I'd say watch Karate Kid and then watch Cobra Kai too.
Yeah.
You all need to watch. Well,
exactly.
You watch all 3
at least the one, at least the first one, right? But getting that and remembering what that was, that story, because I don't know who, you know, anybody.
You got to watch Karate. You got to watch Karate Kid with Pat Morita, not with Jackie Chan. So.
I forgot about Jackie Chan. But that's the whole thing, is that it was a great story.
Yeah.
And it was about a kid that didn't have anything, growing up in a single parent home with a mom. He was like, you know, I know that business, and you think that, you know, I wasn't very big. I was kind of little and scrawny, and, you know, I got beat up. And I did feel that if I learned karate, then I could defend myself and take care of myself. Not to go hurt people, but so people couldn't hurt me. So people would leave me alone, right? And that was that movie. So it resonated with me, that movie, even though he's not a Mexican guy. He's this Italian dude from back on the East Coast. It resonated with me because that's a colorblind story. You're a kid getting picked on or beat on, and now you have the mechanism to defend yourself. I mean, come on, that's about as good as it gets.
There's some good things. I mean, it's very political to the show. There's so many political statements in there that they just threw in there.
Oh, no.
Whether it was racist or microaggression or whatever it may be. There's
the bullying,
so much
the
in
bullying,
there, yeah.
the name calling. I'm gonna go on record here, and I'm gonna get myself in trouble. But I have to admit that when Johnny Lawrence is in the dojo and he's picking on kids, and okay, the kid's got a cleft lip, he calls him Lip.
Yeah.
Okay, you can't do that, right? Now, but he does it anyway. And total spin on me, that kid doesn't like run away crying because his emotions are hurt. He goes and gets the damn haircut and calls himself Hawk.
Yep.
And comes back, and now he's a badass.
Right, and that's why some people will see that as a good thing.
Yeah, okay, so it is, and then other people will say that's not realistic. But, you know, the truth is, and I'm going to be even-handed here, what really is anymore? I mean, seriously, we're living in a time when up is down, down is up, and who's to say that some kid that, because his whole rationale, his whole sensei mentality was, you know, the cleft lip is what you are known for.
Change it.
Change it.
That's right.
And you control it. And then he goes out and he gets the damn hawk hairdo, gets the tattoo. Hey, the hawk tattoo. That shit was funny as hell, man. I was laughing my ass off.
Right.
So he totally changes the dynamic. Now, I'm not saying that mentality is right or wrong. What I'm saying is that is a mentality, though. I mean, it does work.
That's what I'm saying is that the show brings you to see another side.
Correct.
And like, oh, that's terrible. Then you laugh at it. But also,
it was funny.
The thing that brings, you know, it's like in the 80s, we didn't think about that kind of political correctness. In the 80s, things were super racist. We didn't even know. We laughed at it because we took it.
Yeah.
Today, we kind of don't. And they do address a lot of that in this by the way things are happening.
It's like the way they do it.
How things are happening that you could possibly misunderstand.
Yeah.
And how things don't, that's not misunderstanding. That's completely wrong. You know, things that happen and how people can interpret your actions and the things that you take.
It ultimately boils down to how it is addressed. And I will say that again, aside from the cheesy and the campy and it's just hysterical, some of the shit they do in this series, the way they address it is different than what everybody else is doing right now. They face it head on, but they give you both sides of the coin.
Right.
They're not like facing it head on as like, okay, this is the politically correct version. We're going to go the other way. We're going to be anti-politically correct. They managed to do both.
Yeah, and they don't make it the point. It's just like it comes in for 1 second and it's gone. So
and then it's the next, you know,
next thing. Like
crazy
season
shit.
2, it's a very quick second, so it doesn't.
Don't tell me too much. Don't tell me too much.
But you know, Danielson makes a dojo, right?
Yeah.
So the Miyagi dojo, right?
Right.
So he makes a dojo. So he makes a commercial. Well, he's in the dojo and they're playing Mr. Miyagi's favorite song and everything. So some guy, one of his employees comes up and goes, hey, don't worry about the comments that people are making about the appropriation and how you're mishandling it with the Asian music and all that stuff. He's like, but that is our dojo. And these are Mr. Miyagi's things. And that was his favorite song. None of it's a lie. That was what it was.
Yeah.
And that's another thing is when, you know, appropriation sometimes when
that's
it's honest
hysterical.
gets beat up for it, right?
Yeah.
And it's just real quick and it goes away. And not everyone will catch it. I was like, oh, wow, good point. And gone.
Okay, so there's that aspect. We won't stay here too long because we'll be here all night. Because you're the one that brought it up, by the way. And that's funny that you said.
Hey, you just asked me what I watched.
Bobby, that is, I'm not joking, man. Yeah. That is the only series I've watched in like 2 months.
Yeah.
And only because of like,
Karate Kid.
Oh, man. All right, I'll watch it. Okay, I'll watch it. But the cultural appropriation thing, this is what I've done with it. I've told people, not culture appropriate the hell out of stuff. I don't care. I was like, if I'm bad for doing it, then oh well. But I'll culturally appropriate the hell out of something if it's good. You know, flattery being, duplication or copying something being the sincerest form of flattery, right? And I tell people all the time, if something's good, I'll jack that in a heartbeat, man. I'm not doing it to be evil to you or try to make you or your culture or your other bad. If I'm doing it, it's because it's good. And so that, to me, and I'm bringing that up because this series attacks political correctness, including cultural appropriation, in different forms. And I'm saying that because I do that. I do it in a way, and and I tell people flat out, I'll look them right in the eye and say, if you think I'm doing something evil with your culture, then do what you got to do. Call me whatever the hell you want to call me. But if I'm doing it, it's because I like it and I think it's good. And by the way, I mean, in a country like ours, by the way, that is supposed to be about a multiplicity of cultures, and when people tell me, it's American, right? American means a million different things. People don't understand that from the beginning of our country. The whole point to it was this multiplicity of different peoples, not just linguistic, but ethnically, et cetera. I like that. I like that because you take something good and you add it to the pot. Leave out the bad, keep the good, bring in the good. So I culturally appropriate all the damn time.
Well, we'll be here a long time, but it's a longer, deeper conversation.
You're gonna laugh, okay? You're gonna laugh.
It's a longer, deeper conversation.
Yeah, no, it is, and it's something for a lighter or a heavier night, not a lighter night. Yeah. But I posted, because I got my little group, and I use that group as a litmus slash, seeding. I post things in there, and I see how people respond and react. And then I take what I need out of it. I posted a GIF of some old, you say the 1980s stuff, right? 1980s Kung Fu stuff. So I posted one. It was like Kung Fu tip 198. If I stay incredibly still, I'm invisible.
Right.
And the guy's just standing there. And he's like really, really like he's on 1 foot balanced. And he actually believes that no one can see him. And people are just looking at him like, what are you doing, dude? But I culturally appropriate all the time. That's funny to me. That's funny and cool. And actually KP and I have talked about this on air one time when I had him on with me. We talked about this. I don't know who you could be or how you could be growing up, 70s into 80s, not watching black belt theater in our area. I used to watch black belt theater every weekend. I think it was at 4. You get one of the cool old flicks, right? The guy with, Stone and the guy that like
Five Deadly Venoms.
Yeah, the 5 Deadly Venoms. Yeah. That's a classic, man.
Yeah.
And we'd watch black belt theater. And what do you think we did right after?
Yeah,
we'd go outside.
You go and it's just like watching WWE. You go and try to do all of it.
We go outside. I told KP this. He was laughing. The one where the guy has to, like, he's got 4 different pots. And in each of those pots, like you have sand, and then you have pebbles, and then you have some rocks, and then you have like big rocks, and you have to jab.
Put your hands in there.
You have to jab to build finger strength, right? So you can hit. And so you're doing it in the sand. That's easy. And then by the time your training is done, because all the training's done in that 1.5 hours, right? You get to the end, and now you're literally crushing rocks with your fingers. We used to do that. I did that.
It works.
I did that.
Watch. We'll go outside crush some rock for you right now.
I was like, we would do black belt theater. We'd go out and try to duplicate everything they did in black belt theater.
That's what you do as kids.
Well, you would have brought it up. You brought up Karate Kid, man, because I was thinking about that stuff. All right, let me stop there. All right, so where are we at on time, AP? Longer. I'll be here with you all night.
About 40.
Okay. So let's do. So normally we talk movies. Hey, look, we managed to do it. We talked about some movies. We talked about some TV. So normally it's TV, movies, and music for cheap date night on a Friday.
All right.
And so light fare, right? And you get some social commentary, maybe some political, whatever, but we keep it light. So we did talk about TVs. We did talk about movies. And so we get to finish up with some music. Music's a different critter for me. I really love using this format and this show to have other people, especially the younger ones, that come on and they give me what they're listening to. Because, humans are humans. We gravitate normally to what we know, right? And even though I have a very, very wide library that I listen to, like going back a long, long time, I listen to a lot of different music. But it has not failed to surprise. One young gal got me with Christian rock that she listened to, and I was like, I was in a blank space. And I'm not talking about Taylor Swift. I had a blank space. There was nothing there that I had relevance for that I didn't know a lot about. So I love using this opportunity on the Friday nights to go over music, because you're not sure, you really don't know until you talk to another person about what they're listening to. And then when they're on this show, I've found that my guests, they actively try to come up with something that maybe not everybody's listening to, but they are listening to. I like that. They're not giving me like the top 5 songs, on Billboard. They're giving me a diversity in their own listening. And we've gotten some crazy cool music from people that have not heard or don't hear a lot about. And that's entirely cool, because the one thing I do know is, like, I don't give a damn where you are politically or in terms of parties and all that stuff in the ugly world we're living right now. Music has a way of getting across all those boundaries and getting people to like some stuff. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been in places and I'll be listening to George Strait and people are looking like, what the hell? I like George Strait. That's my dog, you know, that whole 80s scene. And then the outlaw country out of the 60s and 70s, that's my stuff. You know, Chris Christopherson, like, you like Chris Christopherson? Hell yeah, that's my dog right there. That dude's one of the greatest lyrical poets, you know, this country's ever produced. So anyway, point being, it's a great way to get new music into a framework that might not be there, you know, for you individually. So we share a little bit. And I did that last week with a buddy of mine, Z. He brought up some stuff like, okay, holy smokes, man, I didn't know you listened to that. He's an old wrestling coach like me. And some of our tastes were similar, but there was some stuff that I had not really listened to in a long time that he did listen to, and vice versa. And when we were walking out, I was like, man, I didn't know you liked that. I was like, we were joking outside the studio after the show was done, appreciating each other's music. So I thought that was real cool. So that's what we're going to do tonight, and that's what I'm doing with you. So let's make it a little bit. Normally what I'll do is like, I may like send something to you and say, okay, normally it's 5 songs. Give me 3 current songs you're listening to, and then 2 throwbacks. And we can fiddle with it as you want. So I'm not sure, like, if you're like me, if you're an old dog, you know, the 3 current are probably just maybe radio stuff or that's like out there. But even in the pandemic, you know, this time right now, man, I think music has been hit hard. You don't get to tour. You don't get to do large concerts, which, by the way, for a lot of artists and musicians, is a filtering and experimental process to creating new music. That's gone. That's kind of gone. So you lose that aspect of creativity in an artist. I don't know. I do think it'll hurt. You know, you can't go 8-9 months without one aspect of your creativity being removed. We'll see what it ends up being. But I asked one of my guests about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I said, what's the song of the summer? And they're like, ugh. Because normally, you get past the summer and you know what that one song was that everybody's blasting. It's all in all the clubs, not really clubs right now, or on the radio, or just like generically in a backyard party that everybody listens to. Blurred Lines with Alan Thicke back then, 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. They're just songs that just are the song of the summer that everybody knows, and it's a big hit. I can't really think of, other than that Doja Cat song I kind of like. But yeah, there you go. See, there's nothing that's just like jumping out at me out of this 2020. And I hate saying that because let's get straight. There's no way that the COVID period doesn't hurt us, and I don't mean just about 200,000 lives lost, because that bothers the hell out of me personally. But creatively, we're going to lose some things that normally we would have because of our functioning society. So music, I think, is going to hurt. To all the musicians out there, keep doing your thing. That doesn't mean it's you, but it is going to hurt us somewhere.
Right.
So
what they are hurting with money. They're hurting with having the ability to do things like 3 months ago, 4 months ago, KP and I did I think for
tell me about
a
that a little
fundraiser
bit.
for musicians, people who don't have they can't DJs.
They can't go out.
They can't go out and play at the clubs.
They're not getting paid.
So we held an event. We had DJs from all over the world playing stuff from their own home, and we were showing people at home, and asking for people to donate, and and the money went to artists that were that could not get jobs at clubs anymore to play.
Right.
Right. And so just trying to help them play, be creative, and do things and still perform. And so we're trying to use this platform to give people give people the opportunity to do stuff.
And now that you mentioned that a little bit earlier, you bring it up now. Let me help with that too. I wanted to do something similar, if not DJs, but artists, right? I was going to do that anyway. Let's make sure we collaborate on something, because obviously more minds need to be together to help to get something bigger. But I do feel that in the sense that again, creativity, and it doesn't have to be just music, okay? Music creativity. It's creative in general. If in a normal society, if you're worried about where your next meal's coming from, the roof over your head, how you're going to survive day to day, it's really hard to be creative. That's a fact. I'm not saying that some people can't, but it is hard.
But a lot of the big things, like in Nashville, they'll have like Wednesday or Thursday, a lot of folks get to a bar or a restaurant afterwards, and they're playing each other's songs. And like big star singers show up to just say, oh, let me hear that song, or people are playing songs. Oh, I want to try that song, and let me sing that song. And they they do that, and they get together, and that's there is this confidence in hearing from other folks.
You have to find a way,
right? And now we don't have those.
Yeah, it's definitely harder. I mean, I don't think anybody will deny that. It's definitely more difficult. But The thing I do know is that creativity can't, sustain in difficult situation on its own. It needs help, support, like what you guys did is important. I think some of the things that I do outside of, say, this, to help artists is important. I don't tell everybody about the things I do, but I do foster art. Not just obviously the audio, but the visual and others. It's a necessary component to our society. I've stated openly, and I'm pretty hard-headed about it. I'm an old military guy, but there are core functions in a society and core things that need to sustain for a healthy society to function forward. Creating a song is not at the top of my list, and that'll get me in some trouble, but it's a reality, okay? You need to eat, you need to have a roof over your head. You get my point. The fundamental things that are essential to living, to just exist. But scaling and moving, you do have to have those other aspects of your brain working adequately and, firing in all cylinders. And so part of that for me is music and art. And if we don't, guys like you and me or others, if we don't do anything to help with that, you're asking young creative people to just exist on their own and survive. And that's hard. I know young artists, and I'm sure you do too, it's not easy, and they will not be able to create if they don't get some help. And my thing is, like, holistically, society needs to do that for itself and each other.
It's that exposure.
Exactly.
And,
we need to get them out. We need to get them heard.
Yeah. I mean, you can make your own webpage, but people aren't going to look at it, right? So, but people go to the clubs. And
Correct.
if you had the chance to open, to perform, people saw you. If they liked you, they're going to look you up. I mean, that's what, that's how you get there. And that's why
Right.
this pandemic is
That's what we're hurting. That's what we're
hurt
hurting.
that a lot.
So
Movies,
on
films,
record, you
theater,
and I,
all that, man.
Yeah, on record, you and I, let's work on something. Here's the thing: the pandemic's not going to be gone tomorrow. That's a reality.
No?
Listen,
Did it get hot enough?
Listen, on the record.
Just joking.
I know you are, but and I'm going to joke in return with a sliver of some ugly truth. Not my 10-minute show right now. 1 second. But if I had my way, and there'd be a lot of people that wouldn't want my way, but if I had my way, if I ran this mess, I'd lock this thing up tighter than a frog's ass. There would be no waffling and playing of games. We would do this like nuts and bolts, hard. And I mean ruthlessly efficient and effective. No excuses, no crying, no complaining. Everybody does. And if we did it hard and right the first time, you know that old saying?
There you go. That's a key word, though.
You do it hard and right the first time, and you don't have to go back. All right? And I do feel that about, I don't want to make it political, but I do feel, and here's the thing, you could still do it even now. We could still do it
a different
even
subject,
now.
yeah.
It is, and I better stop myself because we'll be going on. But that's who I am in general. You know that,
Yeah,
even when
yeah,
I'm
I
being
know.
creative. I believe in that 100%. You do it right the first time. AP knows this line. I'm going to have to make a shirt of it. One of my lines is, life in general, things in general, are simple in concept, difficult in application. We all know right and wrong, Bobby. We really do. There are not very many people that don't know a right from a wrong, okay? The core issues of our society, who we are, what you do. You know it's wrong to kill someone, okay? You know it's right to help another. We all know those things, but difficult in application. When other things, self-interest, other people, saying, talking, when those things get in the way, we don't make the right decisions. I don't have that problem. And I'm not bragging or talking, but I just don't have that problem at all. I'll do it right, even at personal cost. And there's been plenty of personal cost. And I'm not talking about money. But anyway, simple in concept, difficult in application. That's one of my lines for like life. It really is, man. And then you know this, the older you get, the more you're like, yeah, I do know right and wrong. Now, do I want to do it? Or is it going to be? Yeah.
I mean, easy to say,
You know,
hard to do.
You know. All right, so give me. We'll do a few because we're running
Yeah,
time here.
yeah.
Give me something you're listening to current.
That's current.
It's like current.
I actually don't listen much. And honestly, when I listen to radio, like when I'm driving, I'm actually listening to like talk radio or something like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then if I don't, I mean, it's music that there's just two things. Either I'm
On a
singing
playlist?
Either I'm singing a karaoke thing. I have a playlist of karaoke songs
Yeah.
I sing, and it's usually country, because I like singing country.
do
music.
country?
I sing in country music.
I'll tell you what. Let's do country.
But
What you got?
Oh no!
What do you
no,
listen
no.
to country right now?
Like one of my favorite songs to sing that I'm not going to sing on the air, but is Tim McGraw's "If You're Reading This." I really love that song.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's an awesome song.
Okay. So you've got. I was going to kind of ask like that's not as current.
It's not so current, but it's something that I think.
No, but
really goes.
yeah, and I do know that. But what I was saying was, so we'll call this throwback.
Yeah, that's
we'll
a
call this throwback.
Another throwback song. Was
Hold on, give it to me again. So
If
if I'm
You're
reading
Reading
this, if you're reading, yeah, there it is. Well, let me run that one. Let me run that one for you.
Oh, throwback. Oh, okay. Oh, you can run it.
Yeah, why not? It's a good call. Good song. Play. Come on now.
Where's it go? I mean, here.
Wi-Fi.
Oh.
Once in a while. Come on.
It is one of those songs, though. I mean, you know the song. It's
Part Cherokee and Choctaw.
Your evenings, Mama.
you just killed it.
I didn't. It's buffering.
Oh.
Come on. I should probably like do the playlists in advance.
Looks like I only got a one-way ticket away. I sure wish I could give
So this is your singing song, huh?
Yeah.
You got it on a playlist in your car? Yeah, good.
when we were kids. Well, I'm laying down my gun, hanging up my boots. I'm up here with God, and we're both watching over you.
Good song. That's
You
a
know,
good song.
Just, I don't know. I like the song. It means a lot. Respect our veterans and everything
Yeah, yeah.
else. And just thinking, that kind of stuff actually happens. And, and that's, one song that I like and that I have on that playlist.
Then let me give you a
know,
Tim McGraw then. I'll give you Tim McGraw. I was joking with you right now. I gave it to you earlier. Like so when he came up, pretty much out of the 90s, out of the back end of the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been around since, obviously doesn't do as much as the newer, younger guys now. But, I mean, he carved himself a nice little niche there for a good decade and a half, 2 decades. After,
He's a Hall of Famer. I mean, he's
right,
he's
after what I was listening to out of the 80s and the 90s, which was, Clint Black, Garth Brooks,
Randy
Alan
Travis.
Jackson, Randy Travis, Travis Tritt. Those are all my guys that I listened to during that time, 80s and the 90s. And then after that, they're not that they were still around, like George Strait, right? I mean, been around forever, and I listened to him. But, he kind of jumped in there, and some of the music morphed and changed in country because of him and a few others during that late 90s into the zeros period. And it wasn't that type of country anymore. It was different. I'm not saying it was bad or good. It was just different. And so he carved himself a really, really nice place, in that period before it started to alter again, which is more like over the last 5 to 10 years into this newer group of young dudes that I'm really intrigued by and listen to. There was a long time there and I was like, country was like, it wasn't country to me the same way as it used to be when I liked this stuff, right? And there are these younger new dudes, and I'm like, oh, I don't know, I don't like them as much. But the guys that are there now, and maybe we'll play a few here, but the music, the country is different. The country music is different.
It's pop. It has.
It's
You think about.
I don't know if you know this, but so Luke Bryan is like 6, 7-time entertainer of the year in country music. I'm not an expert, but I know the parameters. He's won like a load of times as entertainer of the year in country music. And I'll watch his stuff and I'll chuckle, while he's doing it. Basically, it's a club hit. It's a dance song.
You
It's
don't like
country.
his songs.
Huh?
You don't like his songs?
No, I do.
I don't
do.
like his songs.
I do. No, I do. I'm gonna tell you why.
Funny
I'm gonna-
songs.
No, I'm gonna tell you why. Because it's basically, it's not country like I used to listen to,
Right.
like I loved,
Yeah.
like I loved growing up. But they're club hits, they're dance hits, and he's found a way to make that not just palatable but likable by women. And the guys like it too, because what do you do when you're out in the club? You go dance with women, right? The stuff is highly danceable. Okay, is it country like
Doesn't he
George
got a
Strait
song
to
like
me?
that?
Huh?
I think he even has a song about that.
Well, he's got more than a few. He's got more than a few, and that's why. Look, the bottom
Right.
line is he's making a load of money. He's the entertainer of the year.
Yes, he is.
Because he took something that was there, altered it a little bit, and I mean, whether you disagree or not agree with it, the reality is he changed it. And so the newer ones that are coming along now, it's a little more of that. I mean, the dance in
And
the
dude
music.
can't dance, man. And the dude can't dance.
Oh, I know. Okay, so that's what I was gonna say. Okay, if you watch the video, and I watched it a lot, Country Girls, Shake It For Me, and you watch him doing his little thing, you're like, what the hell is that? What is wrong with your hips? You know, because I can move.
He can't dance. Yeah,
Okay,
he
I can dance, and I can dance just about everything, literally everything. I can salsa or get in a rap club, and I can do just about everything. And I'm looking at this, what the hell is that ugly thing he's doing there with his hips? That's not.
He's not coordinated at all. But he knows that too, though.
And he
It's
does,
such a-
and he
yeah.
does, and he's got his niche, and
Yeah.
I'm joking, but in good jest. It's not. I like him. I like the
Yeah.
guy. But he found his way, and he's entertainer of the year forever. But the music is different. So I'll jump back to that in a second. So this is what I'm gonna give you for Tim McGraw. This one I liked immediately when I first heard it. I was like, that's different. It's different. You'll note it's one of his more well-known, like popular early hits.
People look at us right now and go, country?
Dig on my country, man. I grew up on it. Come on. Cooperate. And just for the few lines, the first opening lines are very good.
I'm an Indian outlaw.
That's what we're talking about.
Baby, she's a Chippewa.
This is in the very beginning.
My pawpaw, my mama, walk the line. I mean, that was and it's the Indian thing, right? And it's like different. You kind of hear the background music. It's like, oh yeah, it's kind of Indian music, whatever. But I mean, he's got more than a few of those really good, like, and so here's the thing.
That's that transition period.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That's that beginning, and it's not the only one, but where it was in country with George Strait and his guitar standing in front of a mic, and that's it. All right. There you have that changing, and it is pop.
Right.
It is pop, and it's country, but it's country to pop, right?
Right.
And out of the one that really shook it up, and not a male, Shania Twain. You know, whose boots been under?
Awesome, but yeah.
Yeah, what a gorgeous woman, man. That's a good-looking woman to me. But her songs in that intermediate period in the 90s, and she ran with that. And she became a global superstar off of country.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, it's like, okay, before there was a Taylor Swift, before there were all these others, it was Shania Twain. She blew that mess up
Yep.
before the guys did, by the way.
Well, she was
in
their
that
idols,
period.
right? She, with her songs.
Oh, exactly. I mean, and I loved her.
It's like Garth Brooks' time too, when
Yeah.
changing from Thunder
Oh
Road
no,
and all
definitely,
that stuff,
definitely. Big alternate. Like that's that window though. I like to tell people like the 90s is my second favorite decade for music. And they're like, really? And I'm like, the 60s, for all the obvious reasons. But the 90s, out of all the decades, going back to the 50s at least, the 90s is my second favorite decade for music because that was changing. Country was changing then. You had, Seattle, and you had grunge alternative changing. You had traditional, what was hip-hop/rap out of the 80s into the 90s when it just exploded and blew up, out of NWA into the 90s, right? And all the others that came along after. That was all like a crazy, crazy, beautiful period in terms of music for me. because you had multiple genres experimenting, exploding, and doing different things that had never been done before. I mean, not just, again, people know about rap, people know about, you know, pop, alternative, rock, but country was doing its own thing and altering, and we're still living with the result of that altering. Whether you like it or not is irrelevant. The point is that it did, and all that during the 90s. So I love educating, talking to people about that period, because it was like some crazy stuff. If you go back now, if you're a younger person, you go back, like, whoa, that's where that came from, all in that window of the 90s. All right, you give me another one.
For what? For current?
Current or?
I mean, one song that I heard the other day, that I don't know if it's current. I thought it was current to me. What's the name of the guy that plays is it Hawkeye in Marvel?
Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner. He's a singer.
I know. He's got a little band.
Yeah. So Jeremy Renner he has a song called
Really?
Heavens, yeah, I think it's Heavens.
Okay, you got me.
And I was surprised that I didn't know he sang.
What's the name of the band? I do know he's got a little band.
If you do Jeremy Renner, and I think he's got his
should
own
be it,
album. I didn't see it as a.
No, I'm aware.
band.
I do know that he has.
Yeah, the guy can sing. And the title's Heavens something. Heavens got it, something like that.
There's probably not a lot. Let me see. So, he's got multiple albums though. Jeremy Renner. Oh wow, he's got like 4 or 5. Whoa. All right, it's got Main Attraction, Heaven Don't, Nomad,
Heaven
House of
Don't.
Heaven Don't. Okay, let me run that. That's one I wouldn't have thought of.
I actually like this one.
Yeah?
That's why. Yeah, I liked it. And I said, what? That's Jimmy Renner. I had to look. What? Really?
Okay. All right.
An uptown beauty you can never escape. Heaven don't have a name. She keeps it old school. Feels like rock and roll, but got that new groove. So unpredictable like
Okay, I've not heard that. That's good. That's
That's
good.
Jeremy
That's a
Renner.
good song. That's a good song. Damn. Don't quit your day. Don't quit your day job.
But I think that's a current song.
That's good.
Yeah.
I had not heard that. I didn't even. Like I said, I know generically he's got his band and he sings. I know that, and he goes out and he plays. Not so much now, obviously, but I do know that. But I've not listened to his music. Got me on record saying that. I don't listen to it. I haven't heard it, but that was good. I do like that. Give me another one. I'll let you go.
So throwback. Well, my favorite song is "Save the World" by Swedish House Mafia.
All right. Save. Is this in like the Bobby B playlist?
Oh
On
yeah,
your- on
this
your
is,
car?
everyone knows. This is the song that's gonna be played at my funeral.
You talk about funerals, man.
My wife, all my
About
friends
funerals.
know this is the song. This is the song. This is my favorite song. It's kind of thing I go by. It's high energy and stuff.
There it is. Oh, there's an artist named Save the World.
But this one.
No.
into the streets, we're coming out. We never sleep, never get tired.
I know that song too. I haven't heard it in a while. I haven't played it in a while, but that's a good call. Save the world.
Yeah, like that. So if I turn on my radio, like I have Sirius XM or something. I play the BPM. It's EDM music and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I've been listening to more. Over the last like couple of weeks. I mean, like the weird thing about like the COVID thing is, for the first time in a long time, I'm not listening to as much that is like right now. Because maybe by volume there's not as much as there normally would be, right? And that's kind of true. But I'm like catching up on stuff that I kind of missed out of the last decade. And there's this, and this was like the last decade. It's more than not just 2 years ago, but like back to 10. There's a gal called Ina, I-N-N-A. Didn't know who the hell she was. And I was, you let YouTube run or something like that, and it'll come up with all kinds of suggestions, right? And they just play them. Because if you let it run, it doesn't stop. It just keeps playing stuff that are related to it. So I was listening to some other stuff, and then this stuff came up. So she's Romanian, cute as hell, she's a gorgeous little girl. And it's more, I don't want to say it's electronic, pop, EDM. It's other, it's world music. It's not, this, but. And maybe we don't get a lot of it over here because it's over there. But now she's gotten pretty big. And it was just, I use that kind of music to work out to. When I'm getting cardio. I'm on my bike and I'm going like 2-3 hours. That's a long time.
Right.
I was like, really, the cardio's killing me, man.
it keeps you moving faster.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so that kind of moves me. I have to hear like not just upbeat music, but with video especially, I need to see dancing. I need to see movement, and that gets me moving, right? And so I think I'm going to play one of hers, but, I mean, she's gorgeous, man. I mean, she's cute. I like, and the kind that's like.
Wait, does that make you stop working out?
Oh, not at all, not at all.
Watch the video.
Yeah, just maybe go harder. And I'll say it, the kind of beautiful that like, what the hell? Like, oh, where were you? Where have you been? But she's gorgeous, and she can sing, and she's got cool music, and I think she's going to be around a while, even though, like, she's more global than she is, like, States. But that's what I've been listening to lately. Her, and then there's another one that's from Romania, Alexandra Strata or something like that. So my point is I'm listening to stuff not here.
Right.
I'm listening to stuff other places to hear what they're playing, what they're doing. I want other types of music. I want to hear this other music that is coming out of other places, because I don't monolithically believe that the United States or we know everything or the best at everything. That's just not a smart metric
So have you been listening to K-pop?
I do, even though like I've got others that listen to it more than I do. I'm still kind of getting there. I do listen.
I have no idea.
I listen just to get the mechanics of the music down, right? What is it composed of? What is a K-pop song? Kind of the same things that I'm doing with these, is I want to hear the instrumentation.
See what makes it different.
Right. I want to hear the instrumentation. I want to hear the lyric. I want to know if it's more than just a backbeat. I want to know if it's more than synth. I want to know if it's more than an algorithm, which I'm kind of antithetical to, because that's not music to me. Just
I get it.
It is, but it isn't to
Right.
me. Okay. I'm listening to a lot right now. The boy banders from One Direction, Niall Horan and Harry Styles. I'll throw you a sidebar. They, Grammy nominations came out recently. And so for Fine Line, the album that Harry Styles just put out this past year, he didn't get any nominations or anything for it. And so normally people are like, he's a little boy bander, whatever. But I've listened to all of the album. It's one of the few albums this year that I've listened to the entire album, like back, all the way, front to back. And I'm amazed at the quality of the music that is on that album. I'm not joking, and I don't exaggerate. I do not exaggerate at all. If it struck me that much, then it's serious. The quality of the music, the lyric, melody, melodic composition, what is that anymore? You see my point? We're losing some things, but this kid's delivering great vocals, great lyrics, melody, incredible instrumentation on some of the songs that are totally different than anything I'd ever heard from him, like in One Direction, and anything that I'm hearing, like in general, like at that level, just totally blew me away. So that's why I listen. I want to hear the song construction. What makes that song what it is? What makes that genre what it is? I may not end up liking it, but at least I'll be able to make the decision on whether I like it or not on good information, fact, right? Knowing what it is. That's important to me. So if you do, no joke, and I think some of our tastes are similar, listen to the album Fine Line by Harry Styles. And like Harry Styles, yeah, the guy who was with Taylor Swift, the little dude with the hair.
Right.
Okay, Bobby, I'm not that guy. All right, yeah. I'm an old infantry sergeant, man.
I don't know.
Hey, I'm an old infantry sergeant, and I don't go listening to some little dude because he has cool hair or he dates Taylor Swift. Not me at all. But I've said it on air, and I'll say it again. It's one of my lines. Good music is good music. Doesn't matter what the person looks like. Doesn't matter where they come from, what they do. Good music is good music. And in terms of the quality of, like I said, the lyric, the vocal, the melody, and we're losing melodic music, by the way. I do feel we're losing some of that good aspect of melody. And putting together something that's well constructed and diversity of instrumentation. I mean, I like that. That's good music, man. That's good music. And so that damn album, Fine Line, I can literally listen to first song to the last song. Incredible. Just really good music. And they're not all the same. The songs are not all the same. They're different. I think the one that struck me the most out of that album, if you get a chance, it's called She. The beginning of it is like, then you get to the full thing, you get to the end, and you listen to the instruments and the music that's going on beyond his vocal. And it's staggering. I was like, wow, I've not heard anything like this in a number of years at least, that is that different, but still using, instruments to craft a good song. Like I said, people go into a studio.
You seem upset that he didn't get nominated, huh?
Yeah.
Or did he get nominated?
No, he didn't get
nominated, right?
He didn't get anything. Yeah. Which to me is, and it's not like I'm upset, right? It's just like it's an indicator for me that this is where music is going, and that's kind of a problem, I think, because we're going to lose what I said earlier, the creativity. I'm not saying that someone can't be creative in going into a studio and banging out some algorithms that they know are going to perform well based on charting, right, and other algorithms, and they crank it out and they make money. It gets on the top of the list, right? I love the creative aspect of someone getting into a studio and tinkering and playing with instruments and playing with the vocal and creating something really good. I don't want to lose that. And so the more we dip this way, we will lose this. I like balance. You know me.
No, I get it.
I like balance, man, and that's music to me. That's a music. So let me give you one from this girl. Check her out when you get a chance. It's like upbeat stuff, Ina, I-N-N-A. And I just like, over the last couple of weeks, just like, wow, that's kind of cool stuff. Great to work out to, but it's more upbeat. She collaborates with a lot of other world artists, and it's where they're going. That's Romania is more toward Eastern Europe, right? But they have good artists too. And so again, my mind is like going to different places to hear different things, not just say in the States. And the COVID thing has kind of sped up my process to getting out of just us and listening to other things to open that mind up a little bit. Because again, we're not the only ones that know anything. Or at least I don't think so anyway. Okay. This is with J Balvin, and he's kind of, he's here, us, known. Come on. Longer, come on.
You know a lot about this music. About music all around.
Ah, come on. This one's a little more of the cheesier. but the collaboration with the Balvin guy.
This is Romania.
So when she says soy Latina,
Mm-hmm.
because Romanian is a Latin language.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I like to educate people on that. So Latin, was a language used by the Romans, but it's a language. And so all of the countries that have languages that are derived from Latin are Latin, Latino, Latina. And so people we use the term here, in the States and in our particular area, and it's not accurate the way some people use it. They like generically say, the Mexican folk in this area are Latino. Technically, yes, okay, but it's a much broader term. Latino, Latina, is a linguistic assign. It's linguistic because it means derived from the Latin language, which is Spanish, the obvious easy one, but also Portuguese, French. People don't generally associate that, but it's true. French is a Latin language. And the Basque languages that are on the Catalan side going into France, Spain, and France, the Pyrenean area, all that. Those are dialects, but that's also Latin. And then Romania to the east, going toward Eastern Europe. And obviously Italy, because it's, where the Romans were. Those are all Latin languages. People don't generally know, I don't want to stereotype too much, but the average person does not know that Romanian is a Latin language. It's one of the only ones that is in that portion of Europe. So when she says soy Latina, she's Latina because it's linguistic. So anyway, it's a cool little tune, and it's more like that's dance stuff. It's electronic. It's I like dance music, by the way. I like all kinds of music, but I love dance music, and I love working out. And she popped up, and I was like, oh, damn. So I had to go watch it more. I had to watch it again a couple times.
Let's see how many people went over to look at Ina right now.
She's cute as hell. Okay, so it's Ina, I-N-N-A, easy as hell. And you hit it, and she'll come up, you know. And so she's got some really good songs. I mean, this one's kind of like one of the more generic ones now. But she's been around for like 10 years. And she's got some cool tunes. I mean, if you just listen to her and you just like good, hip-hop, club music, that kind of stuff, she's good to listen to. Okay, so I'm trying to educate you, and you're giving me some stuff. I'm giving you some stuff in return to, different stuff, right?
Yeah,
that's the part about Cheap Date Night I like. You get to educate another. You get to get educated in return by some stuff maybe you don't listen to normally.
Right.
And like I said, I work hard to try to keep my mind wide when it comes to music.
For music, as long as I have to be able to feel it.
Correct.
That's all it really is to me.
Right.
As long as I feel it, I'm good. I mean, I listen to musicals and stuff. That's not, I did theater in college, and so musicals are all there for me. So I just gotta feel it.
That's my line. I'm sticking to it.
I gotta feel it.
Good music is good music.
Yeah.
Don't care where you come from. Don't care what you look like. Good music is good music, and it doesn't always have to be the same genre. It could be a bunch of different things. If it feels good, it's good.
Yep.
For you. All right, give me one more, and then I'll give you one more. We'll wrap up.
All right. Well, another song. I thought I'd give you three enough. I give you enough.
Well, I'm trying to feed you, like to give you some different things so that we can experiment and play a little bit with what you listen to normally, or maybe what you'd like to listen to. You never know, because I mean, my thing is like you can get older, but it doesn't mean you stop learning. Ancora imparo. Still I am learning. You want more, intake. What's the beauty of growing older is knowing more. It really is. I mean, I don't want to live longer just to say I live longer. I want to live longer so I can know more, learn more, get more, meet more people, hang out with more people, see what they do. That's to me what the benefit is of growing older, being older, knowing more, and then synthesizing all that information and coming up with something good in return.
Yeah.
I'm sounding like a teacher again.
No, it's okay.
You
No,
make me a
but
teacher,
again,
man.
like a lot of music, I'm trying to change the genre, but I mean, songs that you just listen to right now, like an artist that I do like is Tiesto,
Okay.
Red Lights.
Red Lights?
Yep. Upbeat.
You know one that I listen to all the time with this dude on it? Boom Boom. Because the videos with the Jabberwockies, hell, man, that's a great video. I listen to that all the time. Boom, because I want to dance like them. I'm
the
dancing.
Jabberwockies?
Yeah, so it's Tiesto, and I can't remember the other guy, but it's Boom Boom. The song's Boom Boom. And you go punch that in on YouTube, that plays a lot of views, but I love the dancing to this particular beat, that song. It's a great one. So he's on there too, Tiesto. All right, so what, you said Red?
Red Lights. But, hey, Jabberwockies. No, there's
I want a dance crew. I've been telling you, man. I'm going to put together, I'm serious. I'm going to put together a dance crew.
You want to be on the dance crew, or you want to create, which one is that?
All the above. All the above. Hey, listen, somebody forgot to tell me that I'm going to hit 50 and that I'm not supposed to be able to move anymore. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, you're the one that's you're going to bust the egg roll. Oh, my hip. Oh, I broke my hip. Oh, my hip.
There was, the Jabberwockies.
Egg rolling, you can bust your shoulder on
there
that
you
kind
go.
of stuff.
You get your face, whatever it is. But, our crew was called Busting Unique Moves.
Really?
And it was called the Bums. And back when we were doing it, there wasn't a lot of folks doing it, right? And so what was neat to see is that
that's funny because I remember some Asian brothers that were pretty damn good. I mean, they could really move.
When
experimental too,
right?
Yeah.
And so from the Kinjas is another group that like Jabberwockies, and they've all competed against each other. Some of them.
World of Dance.
Cool.
Those competitions are crazy.
It was really cool to watch some of the documentaries. Said, the reason why breakdancing is the way it is today is because of the bums. What? You go to Fresno State, you can read there's a hip hop, like some white papers there.
Really?
And breakdancing and everything started with the bums here in Fresno.
Okay.
Look at that, because it did go away for a while, and it came back.
Right.
Like us, we were learning from Beach Street and trying to get stuff from Beach Street, Electric Boogaloo, and breaking and stuff, and making new things, and it took off since like I was 91.
They should
92.
remake that mess. They should remake breakdancing.
Like Beach Street and stuff, like Electric Boogaloo.
Okay, it's Red Light by Tiesto. Dead on.
Can't live the old days though. The new days now. No more clubs, no clubbing.
I got dressed like I was going to the club tonight.
Yeah, no, but there are bars open in the big city, and they're moving around like clubs. Nope. Tiesto. It's one of those things, just let's go. Doesn't matter. Let's.
Good call.
All up.
That's good stuff to listen to right there. I could listen to that like working out.
Yeah,
that's where I'm getting a lot of music right now.
Just to kind of motivate and
yeah,
keep
you
going.
know what?
I can't go to sleep. I got to stay awake.
Yeah. So I'm doing like 2 to 3 hours right now. I'm in the middle of a 6-7 day window where I'm like really scaling how I'm doing 2 to 3 hours of hard riding. Got a bike at home, and I was telling this one the other day. Like I've pushed myself harder than I have since back when I was in my 20s, like physically. Got to a point I almost got to like muscle failure. I depleted my body, because I mean you're riding like that at high intensity, high pace, and climbing and all the other, and then you're doing intervals and all this other stuff they're running you through, and you got to eat properly, because if you don't have the right fuel in your body will break down. Did that a couple times. You're learning again. I feel like a little kid, getting my body back, getting the workouts right, and just absolutely tore myself up inside out the other night. And I mean, I was sleepy because my body needed to recover. Sleepier than I normally have, I like to sleep.
When you work out, you're going to have to sleep.
Sleep is good. That's a rule in my house. Sleep is good. But I pressed myself so damn hard, depleted myself so hard, that I ended up having to sleep another 3 or 4 hours in a day that I normally would not have to, because I was breaking the damn body down. And so I've got 2 nights left, including tonight and tomorrow, to complete the hardest portion of the series. It's a tour of Utah, actually, on the iFit thing. It's a tour of Utah, and I'm going to get through it, but it's going to hurt. And I'm already dreading tonight. So when I'm done, I told you I'm doing the fasting now. I got to eat before 10. That's my window. And I have to eat in a way that isn't too much, but just enough to get me the workout I need with the carbs and the energy output that I need from the food and the fuel I take in, while not doing so much that I'm sluggish or bad on the ride. And that's not good either. I mean, it's I was at another level, a long time ago. I was in the Army, and I wasn't just another maintenance guy or mechanic. I was infantry, and I was well-trained at another level. And so I know body. I know what I can or cannot do in my body. The difference is that was 30 years ago, and it's different now. So I'm having to scale.
I want to work out. COVID's got me in gaining weight. I want to do all this stuff, but I hear you. You're convincing me just stay the way you are. Don't worry. Accept it.
Hey,
I'm just kidding. I won't have to do this stuff
at least
too.
You're honest. Hey, at least you're honest about it, man.
It's you're talking me out of it.
Oh, man. I didn't even think about that, but you're being honest. But listen, it's not a joke, Bobby.
No, you're taking it serious. That's very good.
And it's extremely serious. And I have definitely, I've cut weight, and I've leaned out, but it is like relearning to ride a bike. And I'm not joking, because I was at a high level athletically a long time ago, right? And I wrestled and I did other things. I'm a martial artist. But wow, I mean, having to relearn the capabilities of what your body can do now 30 years later, I'm not unhappy, because I feel really healthy. I feel really strong. I feel good about what I can do. And I like to tell my son, when you're able to whoop my ass, I'll let you know. I do that, and I'm being hard-headed, and don't take it the wrong way, anybody, but I mean that, though. I'm still capable. I'm more than capable right now, and I told him, when you're ready to whoop my ass, I'll let you know. Because I'll know the difference.
I'll tell you.
I'm not there yet.
I think that if I wanted to, I'd get back into it. I used to mountain bike. Go out here 007.
Mountain biking's good, man.
I would jump and do all those things, and I could rollerblade and do everything, right? Breakdance and all that. I think it'd be great. This year, I went fishing on vacation. I was fishing. I fell and tore my ACL. So, or sprained, stretched. They said I tore my ACL, and then it was straightened. So I was fishing, and I got an injury I've never gotten in my whole entire life. So now it made me go, okay, you know what, Bob? You probably can't do all that stuff no more. So
I mean, listen, it's a fine line. Harry Styles, that's a great album.
I was fishing.
It's a fine line, to get my pun in. It is a fine line in terms of knowing that the body is older, and the recovery and the elasticity and the other components to what made your body what it was are not the same. That's fact. It's age. But, and I will say but, I'm finding that there are some things that I'm still capable of if I don't think that I can't. Psychosomatic, right? It's psychosomatic. I actively don't think that I can. I tell people all the time, I don't think I can get sick. Okay, and I'm not joking. It's been nearly 4.5 years, and I've not had a sniffle or a sneeze the entire time. I'm healthy and happy for that. Does that jinx it? Maybe, I don't know. But I actively work psychologically to believe that my body will be able to do more over time.
Absolutely.
And if you don't do that, then you definitely won't. You get what I mean?
And
it makes it hard.
I did that climbing a hill, and I tore my ACL.
That's you got me dreading that shit, man. It's because one of these hey, I'm gonna walk out. I'm gonna go down.
I've never torn or broken a bone or done anything, like that. And then I was I fell, and okay. And then the next day, it swelled up, and it was going. It can't be anything. And I was okay, it's not going away. I went to the doctor. He said, oh yeah, what'd you do? You tore.
Takes longer.
You tore ACL. What? Wow. I didn't do anything. That's what football players do when they're playing a game and try to cut. I was walking on a hill,
That's the next thing. I'm going to walk out. I'm going to go downstairs and bust my ass.
You'll be good. Yeah.
All right. We're going to need to cut there. We've been plenty of time. AP, we got the Glam Show stuff ready to go? Yep. Outstanding. Okay, so for you guys on the cheap date night, again, apologies. We got backed up in time. I spent entirely too much time with Bobby, but he's my crime partner, so all of the above. Bobby B in the place to be.
What's going on, guys?
So we will have the Glam Show immediately after what I'm doing right now. That's going to come up in it's 9 o'clock now, so within a few minutes after we get off air here. Glam Show is coming up. And then as soon as that's done, it's going to be about a half hour with my daughter, the Glam Show in New York. We will air the Central Valley Leadership Roundtable that was recorded earlier, live, and that will now be available for you this evening as soon as my daughter's show is done, and that will come up. So I apologize, we're a little later in the evening, but most of you do know, go to SuperMex Nation on Facebook or the YouTube channel, and you'll be able to get all the content anyway. If you're not watching it right now, because a lot of you guys do tell me that you watch it later if you can't do it on the Friday night. So that's still all coming now, and I'm going to say it. We're getting strong with the consistency, and I don't know how the hell that ended up happening, but the Friday night is we got 3 original content programs that are totally unlike each other, from different people, young gal, different guy over here, different guy here. The shows are different. My daughter does like a vlog. Eliseo Gamino on the Central Valley Leadership Roundtable, Hour of Truth. He wasn't happy with 10 minutes. He does an hour. His show comes up, and they talk about serious and pressing issues on the west side of Fresno County and people that don't get attention and are not heard but need to be, because they're the ones doing the damn dirty work of feeding the rest of this valley, if not, the whole damn country. So mine, obviously, tonight with Bobby, it's not as heavy in content or issue. It's a little more lighthearted. Obviously, we're talking about TV, movies, and music, but all good. So again, the point being is we have 3 original content programs on Friday that are consistent, stable, and going forward for a long time for you to enjoy. You can pick one or all 3. Love to have you, keep coming back, and more is coming. My big announcement will be in another week or so about the distribution and reach that we're going to begin to show, so that we're much bigger and much larger than just some stuff on social media. Okay, so all that's coming. You guys know the drill for Cheap Date Night. Thank you for being here. Make sure, safety briefing, make sure that you're mindful of the other. If you are out, I will say definitely, it isn't about whether you're such a badass and you don't get sick and you don't have problems in terms of a virus or anything else for that matter. But I'm going to say it again, ladies and gentlemen. It's not how badass you are individually. It's how badass you are for the people around you. Right? And that's quite literally. I don't like wearing the mask. I've said it openly. I'm not afraid to say that. I don't like it. But I do it because I can't guarantee that people around me won't get sick. And so I am mindful of the other, not myself. All right? And I don't think that's asking a lot in this world, to get out of your own damn thing and not think you're so great, but to be mindful and respectful of your fellow Americans and fellow human beings in general. I don't think that's a bad thing. As a matter of fact, I think that's a badass thing. That's all American to me. Okay, so number love for you. We'll be back 10 Minutes of Truth on the Monday, and then a full suite of programs throughout the week as we grow forward. Number love for you. SuperMex is out.